Good morning, everyone. How are we doing in Final Cut TV land? We got some things to talk about. Not least of all is the new iPhones that were announced last week, and there's every once in a while when they release a new iPhone, there are Final Cut Pro related things that happen around the iPhone event. This year was probably the most things that happened around the iPhone event that I've ever seen. The last time before this year was when they introduced cinematic mode. 2 or 3 years ago, and then Apple came out with an update to Final Cut Pro right after that kind of supported cinematic mode in Final Cut Pro, but it didn't really. It was weird. It was broken for a little bit. But this time, there's a lot of things that got announced within 24 hours after the new iPhone 17 Pro Max came out. Our friend iNobody over there from the X platform, how are you doing? Carter Bing from North Carolina, absolutely. Alista joining in from Connecticut today. What are you doing in Connecticut? I guess the weather's good. Have you ordered? I most certainly have. As a matter of fact, let's pull this up and I'll show you what I ordered. Where is it? Here it is. This is what I got. iPhone 17 Pro Max, 1 terabyte. And I'll talk to you in a bit why I ordered the 1 terabyte and not the 2 terabyte. Deep blue, because doesn't that look like dark gray or black? That's what I normally ordered, and they didn't have it this year. Very, very bizarre. They didn't have a black or a slate gray or something. But this is deep blue, and doesn't that look gray or black? It does to me. So that's what I ordered. And I actually ordered a case. It's the same case, same company that I have on my iPhone 16 Pro Max. And I ordered the black case. So my phone's going to look black, even though it's supposedly deep blue. It'll look like this one, except for the extended camera things up there. Yes, I have ordered, absolutely. Mine's coming a week from yesterday. Good morning from the Dominican Republic. Thank you very much for tuning in, Alexander. So initially, listen, I was ready to go. I had my pre-order in. I had my iPhone 15 Pro Max as a trade-in. They gave me $520. It's okay. I maybe could have got $600 if I wanted to mess with it locally, but for $520, that's fine. That's 2 years old. It's traded in my iPhone 15 Pro Max, so I'll have an iPhone 16 Pro Max, and then next Friday I'll have an iPhone 17 Pro Max. Keeping my 2 iPhones. I got to have 2 iPhones. Anybody else order one besides this one? YouTube. Savorid? I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. But anyway, yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody. That's what it's called. The plateau complicates the design of lens cover cases. Yeah. Years ago, iPhone 12, maybe the 13, I got a whole series of moment lenses. Jorid. Joe, it looks like Joe R.D. Looks like Joe Road. Jorid. I'm not sure it has. You just spelled the name again. Give me a phonetic pronunciation. Maybe I'll remember it. But thank you anyway for tuning in. I appreciate it. So, like I said, iPhone 12, maybe I got a whole series of moment lenses. I don't buy lenses anymore. Every year you got to get a new case they attach to or whatever. I don't get that. When I get a case, I want it thin. I also want it protective. I got to have it thin because I got to balance it on my gimbal. I'll show you a picture of that later. It's got to have a protruding lip around it, so if it goes down, face down, it doesn't break the screen. It's got to have a protruding thing around the lenses, so it's same thing. If it falls down on here, it doesn't crack the lenses. Good morning from Quebec. Just Joward. It's difficult for me to pronounce that, but thank you for that. 256 megabytes. I have an external SSD for the phone. We're going to talk about that specifically because I have two of these. These are the Lexars. I have two of these Lexars, which are really fantastic. Let me get this out of here. How do I get that out? Let me, a little difficult pulling out of the case, but I'm going to get it. There we go. So this is the Lexar, and it just snaps into the phone. What the heck was that? Huh. I guess my snaps into the phone even with the case on.
What the heck was that?
Now, why the heck did that come on? Oh,
my case on. What the heck was that? Now, why the heck did that?
It's my phone got activated. Anyway, it just snaps onto the case USB-C port. 2 terabytes for less than $200. 2 terabytes. It was on sale at Amazon. I got a second one. This is my first one. I got a second one. Less than $200 for 2 terabytes, and it's very, very fast. And we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. I also have a Lexar with 1 terabyte. These are the best if you're going to record with an SSD to the iPhone. These are the best ones that I found. And you also have a dock, the Lexar dock. So the Lexar dock goes in like this. You just press it, goes in like that. That gives you more USB-C ports, and then you connect this drive right here, snap it in. Now I have the SSD, and I got a USB-C port here and a USB-C port here, so I can add power, and I can add my tiny iPhone receiver from Hollyland. It's a tiny little thing. I plug it in there, and this balances on my gimbal. So I have 2 terabytes of SSD storage and Pro Audio going into my iPhone, and it balances on a gimbal. Now, with the case, it's a little bit over the limit. The gimbal limit is 300 grams. That's what it says. With the case, it's about 320 or 318 grams. And it does stay balanced, even though it's over the limit. If I take the case off, it's 280 some, so it's under the limit. So if I have a problem with the gimbal not balancing because this is too heavy, I'll just slip the case off and reattach it. But you get 2 terabytes of SSD storage, and I can plug in Pro Audio with my Hollyland Tiny. It's a tiny little, they give you 2 receivers. They give you a large receiver like the DJI Mic 2 had, touch screen and stuff. They give you a large one for DSLRs, or you can plug that into your iPhone if you want a larger receiver, but they give you a tiny one that records 32-bit float into your iPhone. And it doesn't weigh much, and I plug it in right there, and you still got another USB-C port for charging if you want to plug in a battery or something. So that's what I am using, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why we're going to be talking about this in a minute. It's kind of interesting this last week. Carter Bing says, very nice. So I got the 1 terabyte. I was debating, do I get the 2 terabyte? Do I get the 1 terabyte? Do I get the 2 terabyte? Do I get the 1 terabyte? The downside of the 2 terabyte is there's a couple of downsides. Number one, when you trade in your iPhone, like I traded in my iPhone 15 Pro Max, they don't ask you the size of the SSD. They don't ask you the size of the storage. So the difference between a 1 terabyte and 2 terabyte when it comes for trading in doesn't make any difference. Not to Apple. There is no distinction between mine, which is a 1 terabyte, or a 512 or a 256. There's no distinction. All it said was iPhone 15 Pro Max, and does it work? Is it in good shape? Those are the only two questions it asked. So if I spent $400 more on an iPhone 17 Pro Max, 2 years from now when I go to trade it in, it's not going to make any difference in the trade-in. That's one of the things. The other thing is, this was surprising. As much as Apple pushed the iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max being able to record ProRes RAW on their videos, on the website, everything, all the information I can gather is it only records ProRes RAW to an external SSD. It does not record ProRes RAW internally to the iPhone at this point. And I've reached out, and this is the only information I have is that it does not record ProRes RAW internally to the iPhone. It only records ProRes RAW to an external SSD. Now, Apple doesn't tell you that, but that's hands-on. Somebody was at the Apple event, and we'll show you that right now. Let me pull that up. There's mine. And here, look at this. Okay, so this is a screen grab from Tyler Stallman. He was at the Apple event. He had an iPhone 17 in his hand. As he went to switch to ProRes RAW, this is what popped up. ProRes RAW recordings. ProRes RAW requires recording to external storage. Now, Apple hasn't told us that anywhere that I've seen. I've reached out and mum's the word. No response, no official response from Apple. But as far as I can tell, as far as this is what Tyler Stallman found out when he tried to switch to ProRes RAW, you have to have an external SSD. I don't know what's going on with that. I mean, it may be the open gate format requires a lot more data transfer than the internal SSD can handle. That might be what it is. I don't know, but I'm covered, okay? I have two of these. I have one here that I've been using for about a year or so, since Log came out. And then I have a second one that I ordered on Amazon. It's still in the package. I'm probably going to keep it. So I'll have 4 terabytes of plug-and-play SSD storage when I record ProRes RAW. And I absolutely am going to be recording ProRes RAW when I get my iPhone 17 Pro Max on Friday to try it out. I'm not going to record everything that I do in ProRes RAW, but I absolutely am going to be recording ProRes RAW starting on Friday and probably all weekend and maybe the following week. And you're going to have to record to an SSD. I'm not sure why. Listen, it may have been a pre-production issue with Tyler got that pop-up message. It may be it's going to be modified in an update for the iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max. But everything that I've found so far, everything points to you need an external SSD to record ProRes. Now, like once again, Apple didn't tell anybody that. There's no tech note. I've looked and looked and looked, and I've reached, there's no tech note that says that. But that's the pop-up that he got. That is the pop-up that he got. Apple ProRes RAW requires recording to external storage. Now, if that's not the case, when I get mine on Friday, I'll let you know, because I'm certainly going to try that. But I have a feeling that this was just at the Apple event. This was just at the Apple event, so. Okay, Richard, I like the fact that you're showing your setup in case I am planning on buying that SSD setup. I have just purchased a HOEM V3 Ultra gimbal. Do its 400 payload. It has a 400 gram payload. That is amazing. Now, if I'll look at the HOEM 3, that's fantastic because then I can keep my case on without worrying about it. This setup without the case is under 300 grams. With the Hollyland iPhone receiver, it's a tiny little thing. You plug it in, it gets 2 channels of 32-bit audio to your phone. It's under 300 grams. I have a scale. With the case, it's about 320. But I left it balanced the other day just to try it out for like a half hour, and it stayed balanced on the gimbal. But I definitely would go to a gimbal that had 400 gram payload. So I will be looking at the HOEM. I just saw that put out. I really like the Insta360, but I expect the Insta360 to match the HOEM. I expect them to have a new version with a 400 gram payload. That would be fantastic. That would be phenomenal. Now, I like that the HOEM has a little wireless controller and a screen on it. I really like that a lot, so we'll have to see. But I'm definitely looking for a different gimbal that has a higher payload, but still is small for a phone. Be careful not to select iPhone 17 standard because its USB-C port is USB 2 speeds only. That should not be done by Apple. I absolutely agree with you. Was Tyler doing that screen grab from Blackmagic Video or from Final Cut Camera? It might be possible via the Blackmagic. I don't think so. Let's go back and look at that and see if we can see what that was from. That doesn't look like... Well, I can go back and look. I don't think it's Blackmagic. That screen is the iPhone Final Cut Camera 2.0. I'm pretty sure. That's not the Blackmagic screen. I'm pretty sure that's the Final Cut Camera 2.0. That's something else that came out around the event. All this stuff that came out, we're going to talk about all of it. How do you keep it stuck to the casing to prevent it from falling or dislodging? How do I keep what stuck? You talking about the SSD? It just plugs into the USB-C port. And that keeps it. This dock and this SSD, this dock and SSD are meant to go with the case. If you don't have a case on, there's a gap behind it here. So it just custom fits. It just custom fits into the SSD port, and it's fine. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't flop around. It hits the case here, and the USB port keeps it in place. Doesn't wobble or anything. Yeah, you don't need the magnet part. This thing is tiny, and you don't need the dock. If you just want the SSD, you can plug that directly into the bottom. It's just tiny, just completely tiny. I really like this setup. Because I couldn't get a confirmation anywhere on Apple's website. None of their tech notes, none of their advertising, none of their videos said you have to have an SSD to record to an iPhone 17 Pro Max, to record ProRes RAW. Nowhere does Apple say that. Tyler said that in his video. And I said, what the heck? And then I did a search, and the search came up the same thing. In order to do ProRes RAW on the iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max, you have to record to an SSD. Now, here's the, it seems odd that they just released a new phone, and of course, they're very expensive. And they promote it to record ProRes RAW, and you have to record to an external SSD. That seems odd to me. I would be surprised if that's the case going forward. Now, maybe it'll be that you can record 1080p ProRes RAW, but you know what? I think you're recording the full sensor, so that's not going to work. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is, but we'll find out. The reason I'm asking about the Blackmagic camera app is I saw a video that told that ProRes RAW uses less space than ProRes HQ for some reason, and we can record that internal in the app. But you can record that internal on the iPhone now. You don't need that app to record ProRes, just regular ProRes. I don't know what the difference is unless it's the full frame. Maybe the ProRes RAW always uses the full frame. You know what I mean? The height, it doesn't take a 16:9 slice out, and that's why it's so data intensive. So anyway, you don't need the Blackmagic camera app to record. I can record all the ProRes flavors. I don't know about 4x4, but I can record all those on my phone with a lot of different apps, not just the Blackmagic app. Not just the Blackmagic app. You know what? Let me just go back. Here, I'll go back and look and see what app he's using, but I'm pretty sure it's the Blackmagic camera app.
ProRes RAW, which is fantastic because that is the gold standard for color grading, and it does not support it ProRes RAW until now. So this is actually really big news.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not the Blackmagic camera app. Let's look at the screen grab. I'll put this up there. I'm pretty sure it's the I'm pretty sure this is the Final Cut camera app, although he doesn't say it. Hold on a second. Let me get this. Hold on. Let me get this up. Let's do this. Turn that off. Pull this over. So you tell me. Is that the Final Cut camera app? I think it is. But anything I can get at this point confirms what he found, that you need an external SSD to record ProRes RAW. I have a hard time believing that you won't be able to record ProRes RAW internally to an iPhone 17 because they're very expensive, and the SSDs, they want $400. When I say they, Apple wants $400 to go from 1 terabyte to 2 terabytes. $400. So that is $400 for 1 terabyte of storage in the iPhone. Now, I mean, if it wasn't for the SSD issue, no, I probably wouldn't. 1 terabyte is plenty. I've been managing that for years. I got 1 terabyte as soon as they came out, 13, 14, maybe 14, 15, and 16, whenever the 1 terabyte came out, I got them every year, and I've been managing it fine. Now, I'm not planning on shooting ProRes RAW for everything that I shoot. That's not what I'm planning. for some things, and I certainly am going to try it out when I get my iPhone on Friday. I'll be going ProRes RAW crazy starting on Friday through the entire weekend. I'm going to shoot ProRes RAW, 4K, ProRes RAW. Everything I'm going to be shooting initially starting Friday when I get my iPhone 17 Pro Max is going to be ProRes RAW. Now, like I said, I have 2 terabyte external SSD plugged in, so I'll be able to record directly to that, and I can just pull that off, put it on my Mac Mini Pro, and download the footage. But I agree. I have a hard time believing that that's the way it's going to be going forward, but maybe it will be. Hopefully they fix it in an update, because why would they give 2 terabyte option to handle those large files? I agree. It's the strangest thing. I'm thinking this is like pre-production. This is like the first iteration of iOS, iPhone OS, something. Because the internal SSD is fast. The internal SSD on these phones is fast. I don't know why this is going on. Maybe there's some other issue, but anyway, I haven't seen anything from Apple talking about this. Tyler's the first one. He's the second person that I saw talk about the external SSD issue. Final Cut Camera says when you record 50 frames per second, Apple ProRes log that you need to record also external. There you go. So it's got to be a data rate issue, and I'm thinking it's because you're recording the whole frame, maybe. That's why it's a higher data rate than regular ProRes. Regular ProRes typically cuts out a 16:9 slice out of the sensor. This new OpenGate thing records the entire height of the sensor plus the entire width. And I don't know if that's the reason, but it very well could be. Anyway, it'll get sorted. But these Lexar SSDs are really, really cool. I got the 2 terabytes, less than $200 on Amazon right now. So what do you think? Who else is buying an iPhone? And who else is going to be shooting ProRes log? I'm getting my iPhone on Friday, scheduled right now. I'll be waiting. I have cameras out there where the delivery trucks are. And I'll be watching. I'll be in my studio doing stuff. I'll be watching. FedEx, UPS, I can't remember, one or the other. And I'll be watching for delivery. I'll get the delivery. I'll record an unboxing video, and I'll have that available. And then I'm going to, once I get logged on to my cellular service, I'm going to be recording ProRes RAW all weekend. I'm going to be recording ProRes RAW all weekend, starting on Friday, just to try it out. Going forward, I'm not going to be recording everything in ProRes RAW. Oh, here's something else. So one of the things that Apple, I know the Final Cut Pro team watches these videos. So they touted, you can record the front and back camera. It's burned in. It's one file, and the back camera and the front camera is one file. They're burned in. What utter nonsense, Apple. That's ridiculous. I don't want that. I record front and back camera as separate 4K files, and I've been doing that for years. I use the Rode Capture app. It's a free app. You can record the front and back cameras. Both files are 4K. You can burn them in if you want to, but you also have the option of recording separate files, which is what I want. I want separate files, Apple. Don't make us burn it in. You're catering to the lowest common denominator there. People that don't want to do anything in post with those files. I want 2 separate 4K files, and you're not giving us that option from what I've seen so far. I do change the normal iPhone yearly, but just because my service plan. But I'm also in a semi-pro 4K camcorder, fixed lenses, my own indie things. Thinking of a Panasonic. I like Panasonic a lot. I have 4 cameras. Okay, I got the iPhone 16 Pro and the iPhone 17 Pro Max and the iPhone 17 Pro Max coming next Friday. Those are my 2 main cameras. I also have a DJI Action 5, which is a great little camera. It's a great little camera. Fantastic. It's like $350. And then I also have a Panasonic Lumix S5 Mark IIX, which is a full frame, great in low light camera. I got a set of fast primes with that, and I also got a zoom lens, and I also have that. So I have those 4 cameras are my main cameras. But the thing about the iPhone is I always have it with me. So I can always pull it out. It's always with me. Look, this guy's over there talking on the, on the phone. Now, one of the cool things about the iPhone 17 Pro Max is the selfie camera is a square sensor. It's a square sensor. That means you can hold the phone vertically and you still can record a horizontal landscape file. You no longer have to do this to record in landscape. You can hold the phone vertically, since it's a square sensor, and it can record a horizontal landscape file. I think it records to the whole sensor. So you don't have to hold it like this anymore for the selfie, one pointed towards you. Open gate, that's it. So open gate. So the Panasonic Lumix series has had open gate for years. I think my camera up there is a GH5, and I think that has open gate too. My Lumix S5 Mark IIX has 6K open gate. 6K open gate, so I can record the whole sensor top and bottom, but it's 4:3 aspect ratio. The selfie camera is square, so it's the same height and the same width. I've said they should allow full frame recording to allow landscape in post. Yep. So that's coming. The selfie camera is square. The selfie camera. The other cameras are still 4:3, but you can record the entire sensor now. Open gate, as Clayton said. So I'm excited about the iPhone 17 Pro Max. That's one of my favorite times every year, the Apple event. This year was not disappointing. Boy, Blackmagic and Apple have really done this, have really formed a great partnership. Now, Blackmagic came out after the Apple event, and they're now supporting ProRes RAW and DaVinci Resolve 20.2. Blackmagic is supporting ProRes RAW and DaVinci Resolve 20.2, and it's also supporting it in their iPhone camera app and one of their other cameras. They're supporting ProRes RAW. Now, your question is, okay, Blackmagic is now supporting ProRes RAW. When is Apple going to support BRAW? Well, Apple said that BRAW support is now possible in Final Cut Pro last November. They made the announcement at the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit that because of the OS, it was because of something the OS did, Mac OS, that BRAW support is now natively available in Final Cut Pro. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think that Blackmagic has to do some extra work to make a plugin or an extension to make that happen. Two things. I'm expecting Final Cut Pro 11.2 to drop this coming Thursday. Next week, I'm pretty sure but very likely on Thursday. And the reason is because the iPhones are coming on Friday. The iPhones are coming on Friday. People are going to want to shoot ProRes RAW with their new iPhones. And if they can't do anything with it except for DaVinci Resolve, people will go to DaVinci Resolve to shoot ProRes RAW. I don't think the Final Cut Pro team wants them to do that. I think they want them to be able to edit that video in Final Cut. So I expect next week, very probably on Thursday, we're going to see Final Cut Pro 11.2. It's not Final Cut Pro 10 anymore. It's Final Cut Pro 11.2. I've been talking about 11.2 for months. I said they're going to release 11.2 in 2025, and next year at the summit in the spring, probably 11.3. It could be 11.2.5 or something, but I expect 11.2 this year, probably this coming week, probably on Thursday. Those are my predictions. And then because the iPhones are coming out Friday, I'll be getting my iPhone on Friday. I'm going to shoot ProRes RAW. If I don't have a new version of Final Cut Pro to edit it in, I'm going to take it over to DaVinci Resolve. So I don't think the Final Cut Pro team wants me to do that. So Final Cut Pro team, I'm pretty sure you can have it out Thursday. That's my prediction. 11.2 Thursday, that's my prediction. So also they have Blackmagic not only announced ProRes RAW support in DaVinci Resolve 20.2 free update. They also came out with, what else did they come out with? Let's go over there and look. Let's see what this is. So that's the iPhone. Take that off. ProRes RAW, iPhone, ProRes RAW. Is this it? Yeah. Blackmagic Design announces new Blackmagic camera Pro Dock. It looks like it's made for the iPhone. This is all the stuff that it has. Let me pull myself out of there so you can see that. So it has Genlock, time code in, Genlock in, time code in. You can Genlock an iPhone 17. I don't know if you can Genlock earlier versions. It has 3 USB-C ports. The iPhone connection, of course. Power input, standard USB-C, HDMI out, Genlock in, timecode in, audio connections, analog audio connections. Once again, this looks like it was made for the iPhone. Looks like it was made in the iPhone. Square selfie sensor should work to allow receiver of a FaceTime call always the full display regardless of how the other side holds their phone. That's correct. Ripple Training released a video about using Apple RAW in DaVinci Resolve 20.2. Very, very cool. I haven't seen that yet. Only the 17. That's what I thought. So let me do something here. I'm going to pull this up and let me just do this. Let me do this. Let me just hold on 1 second. I'm going to do something right here. So this is ProRes RAW settings. I'm going to do this. Well, you know what? I better not do that. I have something that probably is in Final Cut Pro 11.2. I was going to show it, but I'm not going to show it. I have tested macOS Tahoe public beta. Who will be the public release with my system all working, even though Toast 20.3, macro, blah. Good morning. Do you think the iPhone 7? I don't know. That's a lens abnormality, isn't it? Those little flares. I mean, I don't know if you can adjust that with a coating or something. I don't know how that works. That's physically. I don't know. I've seen that with other lenses too. I've seen that with other lenses. So, but anyway. It looks pretty cool, the interface that I'm looking at. Let's see the backyard here. This is look, the leaves are still green. The leaves are still green. That's good because that's less work I have to do for now. I mean, usually I got to do a lot. I have a lot of leaf pickup. It keeps me occupied all fall. October, November into the second week of December, I got to pick up leaves. And I don't pick them all up. We leave some around under the trees and stuff, but the main yard I get picked up. I got a new lawnmower. I got a great deal on one. They were on sale at Home Depot. A zero turn, this is my second zero turn. I'm keeping my first one. I have a Cub Cadet RZT50, and I got the new, is it a ZT150? I think it is. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. So is anybody else getting an iPhone on Friday? I'm excited. It's like Christmas time. I'm excited about that. I'll be looking for it. I have not tried any Mac OS public betas. I have no reason to do that. Good point. I just made a backup of my Final Cut app as preparation for the 11.2 upgrade. I heard that is used sapphire glass. So yes, now is the time to back up Final Cut Pro app. Back it up, make a copy, make 2 copies, keep them on separate drives, so you can always go back to 11.1.1 if you have problems with 11.2. Now's the time to do that. I'll do that after I get finished. I still have a year of payments to make on my 16 Pro Max. Did I finance my 16 Pro Max? I don't remember if I financed my 16 Pro Max. I don't remember. I did finance the 17. It's 0% interest for 2 years on the Apple Card. 0% interest for 2 years on the Apple Card, plus they took my iPhone 15 Pro Max as a trade-in, and I got $520 for that. So my total price for the iPhone 17 Pro Max is like a little over $1,000, something like that. Yeah, Apple's good with that. They take the trade-in and they give you 0% interest for 2 years. It's free money. It's free money. We got a lot of people watching today. Is anybody else getting the iPhone, or are you here to talk about 11.2? I know Buddy says same on Apple Card. When filming against light sources not being as opaque as regular glass, I'm upgrading my iPhone every 3 years, and I'm only 2 years in. Might keep my 15 Pro Max as a second camera. Yeah. Yes. Wow, 51. Yeah, there's a lot of people watching right now. Got 80, 90 people. So watching live. Your iPhone will be iOS 26. Maybe you will need Mac OS 26 to match perfectly. tvOS 26, I'm not sure. Apple TV. So I have a 2 terabyte SSD in my M4 Mac Mini Pro. 2 terabyte. I have the original Mac OS that it shipped with, which I think is Sequoia. I can never remember. I will make a new volume on that SSD, and I will install Mac OS 26 on it. I will not erase my current working volume of Sequoia. Will not erase it, won't touch it. When I boot up the Mac Mini, I can choose which OS I want to boot into. It's a fantastic way of doing it. It's not a partition. A partition is physical. This is virtual. It's a volume, and you can install Mac OS 26 on a separate volume, and I will reinstall everything from scratch except for a few things. I'll reinstall Final Cut Pro from scratch. I'll reinstall Logic Pro from scratch, Pixelmator Pro from scratch. Everything that I have, I'll reinstall from scratch except for some apps that I have to port over. How many displays do you have now? How big for editing? I have a 34-inch LG monitor. I have a picture of that somewhere. Let me see if I can go find it. Hold on one second. Let me go see. Coming spring, do I have? Somewhere I have a picture. I don't know where it is. I have a picture of my screen setup, but let me go back to here. So I have a 34-inch LG monitor. It's Thunderbolt 2. It's an old one. I've had it for years. It's worked fine. I have another HDMI monitor over to my right, which is not 34. It might be a 24, 28. And then I have my MacBook Pro, my 16-inch MacBook Pro monitor directly below, so I can look down and look at things there. So I have 3 monitors. For editing, the 34, to be honest with you, is plenty wide because I'm doing this now when I'm editing. Sometimes if I'm editing certain ways, I'll bring the windows in so I don't look so far left and right. Well, I didn't know you can make a virtual partition. It's a volume. Partition is physical. And yes, you can. You don't have to even set the size. You don't even have to set the size. All you do is make a separate volume, and the volume will expand and contract as needed. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. You leave your own, your current Mac OS volume. You don't touch it. You do not touch it. You just create a new volume in Disk Utility. I'll call mine Mac OS 26. I will install Mac OS 26 to that volume. It'll expand and contract as needed. You don't have to set aside a certain amount of space for it like you used to. It's really, really cool. And that way you don't, all your plugins work in your other Mac OS first. You don't have to worry about that. And I like to install everything fresh when I do that. Fresh Mac OS, fresh everything else. I'll go to the App Store and download all the apps, get them all up and running on that. I've been researching camera device size of iPhone that has log, ProRes, I think ProRAW, but not 2, but cameras that have 200 megapixels main and telephoto. It's not released yet. Oh yeah, great night video too. Yeah, you're going to have to, I mean, I definitely would be interested in something like that. And would I use that? Absolutely, if it was that much better. But I don't have Android experience, zero Android experience. I haven't touched Windows computer. I used to have to use it down when I was in National Archives, but not for editing, just for email and stuff. Do you often alternate your dual boot or have it as an insurance only? I'll probably for a few weeks, I'll have to keep going back to Sequoia where everything's working fine. And as I port things over to Mac OS 26 and get that running smoothly, I'll eventually just use Mac OS 26, but I won't erase the other one. Why? It doesn't take up hardly any space. I'll make a copy of that before I would erase it. That scalability is impressive, absolutely. With regards to monitor, I am planning on purchasing the 32-inch 6K Asus ProArc monitor next year, should Apple not release the mini LED 5K monitor that has been rumored for years. Absolutely. I want to say one thing. We're going to reach 100 people today watching live. Let me just go over here real quick. I want to let me go over here. Let me just do one thing real quick. I have to go over here, go over here. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Where is that? Now, why is I can't find that? Hold on. I'm looking for, you'll see what I'm doing here in a second. Tips and tricks, Final Cut Pro tips and tricks. We got 14,000 members over there. Okay, here we go. I want to plug this. I want to plug this before I forget. After the show today, where is, oh, let me go over here. Here we go. After the show today, there's another live stream from our friend Mike Eddy. I don't know. Oh, it's 12 to 1:30 Eastern Daylight Time. There you go. I didn't know what the time was because I think he's Central. So we've had Mike on the show several times. He wrote the new Final Cut Pro cookbook, and he's doing a Final Cut Pro workflows live masterclass plus AMA. Now let me see if this works. Yeah, there we go. So I'll put this up on the live stream. You probably can do a search for it, right? Probably. Let me just put this up on the live stream. At least, there it is. Add to broadcast. Copy it quick. Take a screen grab. That's where it is. That's the number. Facebook.com events and then the number there. I'll put it up a few times. As a matter of fact, you know what? I'll put it up as a title and then I can leave it up. Add, there we go. I'm going to reduce a little bit. We'll keep it up over, where the heck did that go? There we go. Come on now. We'll keep it up over here for the time being, for a little while, and I'll keep it down here. So that's starting when we end. That's the event you want to, if you want to watch. If you don't get enough Final Cut Pro here, you can get more after this is over. I'm just going to ask you about that. There you go. More about monitors. Here we go. I use a curved Samsung Odyssey 6 G9 dual quad. I looked at those curved monitors, but I tell you, the 34 inches is enough for me. My vision, as I get further away, gets blurrier. So I got to stay in the central part of my screen. So I've been operating on an M1 Air base model. I'll be getting an M4 Pro Mac Mini and building it from the ground up. Absolutely. It's a great thing to do. Funny, we can clean install macOS easy, but for iPhone or it takes a complex way to do, and I think bulk erase. I'm not sure how that is working. Link is working, Richard. Thank you very much. So, yeah. So that's the link. Oh, it's working in, you mean it's working in YouTube? Is that what you're talking about? Let me just see. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the link is live on YouTube. You can click on it on the YouTube comments section. So listen, I'm not convinced of what's going on with the iPhone 17 Pro Max and recording ProRes RAW to an external SSD only. But there's been no clarification, okay, from Apple about this. And the person that I was talking about, Tyler Stallman, this is what he got a pop-up when he was at the Apple event. I'm not sure why there would be a pop-up in the iPhone if it wasn't legitimate. It's got to be legitimate. It's not a software issue. It's not a Blackmagic camera issue versus the Final Cut camera issue. It's a hardware issue. I'm sure that's what it is. But anyway, I would be surprised if Apple can't address that with an update to iPhone OS. I'd be very surprised. Because they would have, don't you think they would have said something in the video or had a little footnote on the iPhone page? Oh, so in order to record ProRes RAW, you have to record to an external SSD? That seems like something they would have done. But I can't find it anywhere. If you can find it, let me know. 57 people watching over on the X platform. Fantastic. Well, I think we're going to reach 100 today. So, maybe what? Maybe what? What's the maybe for, Clayton? Specs will 50 megabyte camera, 400 megabyte Samsung. You know, I don't care about Samsung cameras and stuff. It would have to be an incredible camera for me to do any. I'm very comfortable with Mac OS. I'm very comfortable with the iPhones. I like them a lot. I like my Panasonic. I like my DJI Action 5. It would take a lot. And a lot of people that do reviews of cameras and stuff to get me to consider switching to a different camera setup. ProRes RAW. Yeah. I have stopped using compressor as my compressions for the web as my new Mac Studio Ultra Pro faster than I make to switch the compressor. It's not unusual that Apple leave out some details, but this is something that people that are buying iPhones, if they want to record ProRes RAW, it's an important thing. That's not the Apple that I know. Something's weird. They must have had some kind of a restriction or something. Or they're going to come out with a white paper before the iPhone comes out. And people can always return their iPhones, if they're not satisfied with Apple's explanation on why you need an external SSD, or they're disappointed. I think you have 2 weeks. You can return it. Pretty much no questions asked. Because, Apple, it's one of the few companies that I have a lot of faith in. It's a marketing thing. But Clayton, I understand what you're saying, but I don't know. You don't sell an iPhone that costs $1,500 to $2,000 and tout ProRes RAW and then say, well, there should have been a little asterisk, okay, that said, in order to record ProRes RAW, you need an external SSD. That's all I'm asking for. If that's the case, I'll know Friday when I get mine. Marketing, you can't mislead people, something that important, because that was a big selling point. The way Apple do his presentation was not okay. It made people think recording is able to internally. Yes, absolutely. It does. It absolutely does make it look like you can record ProRes RAW internally. Nowhere does it say you need an external SSD. Nowhere. No footnote, no tech note, no white paper, none of the videos, none of the pages, unless they've added it recently. There's no asterisk that said, oh, by the way, you have to record SSD, which would have been fine. And I don't care, okay, because I have 2 terabyte SSDs. I have two 2 terabyte SSDs, these little Lexars that are fantastic. So for me, it doesn't really affect me, but it just seems odd. Maybe a fine print thing, but I can't find the fine print, Clayton. That's what I'm saying. I understand. If it was a fine print thing, that's fine. I can't find it. Can't find any white paper. Can't find any reference except for what Tyler Stallman discovered when he was at the Apple event and he had the iPhone 17 Pro in his hand. Was it a pre-production issue that this particular phone can't do it? Maybe. I wonder if the 2 terabyte option was the model tested. Could the 2 terabyte record? Could be. But that's not what the popped-up warning said. I absolutely, something seems strange. I would be really surprised if the iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max, above a certain level, 512, 1 terabyte, can't record ProRes RAW internally. But it might be limitation. Maybe Apple was not satisfied with, they want to use the external SSD, but they should. First off, what they should do is put this Lexar SSD on the Apple site so you can buy it from Apple and then recommend it or something. But people get that pop-up next week. Thousands and thousands of people, and they want to try First off, ProRes RAW is not for the average person. It's for more mid-level to upper-level professionals. So, oh boy, we'll see. Like I said, I'd be surprised if you can't record internally, but right now I haven't seen that anywhere that you can. Haven't seen anywhere that you can. All I've seen is they mentioned Final Cut camera and Blackmagic camera. I think those are the 2 that were mentioned so far that can record in the full frame, open gate. And they said the API will be available for other camera manufacturers as well, so other camera apps as well. So we'll see. Look, once I get my new iPhone Friday, get it connected to the cellular network, download a few apps, we'll try it out and see if I get that pop-up. But whatever. I was surprised when I saw that. I said, what? Everybody's, I think, is surprised. We'll have to see how it goes, but I think, well, we know that Final Cut Pro 11.2 has already been pre-announced. They said it's upcoming. Okay, upcoming. Upcoming is next Thursday. That's my prediction. You're going to see 11.2. You're going to see it drop, I think, next week, Thursday being the most likely day. Thursday is the most common day we get feature updates. Final Cut Pro updates is Thursday. Tuesday and Monday are other days we get them. I don't think there's any Wednesdays or Fridays that I've seen updates. Maybe one or two on a Wednesday, not that many. So Thursday's the most likely, the day before the iPhone is in people's hands. I'm going to record ProRes RAW, and I can't do anything with it because Final Cut doesn't handle it? No, that doesn't make any sense. I think we'll see Final Cut 11.2 next Thursday. All right. Looks like what does not require an external device? What does not require an external device? Clayton. If you have a note somewhere from Apple, if you have a note somewhere, it says RAW, you have to show me where that says that, because I couldn't find it last week. Here, look at this. Look at this. ProRes RAW requires recording to external storage. This is what Tyler Stallman found when he tried to record ProRes RAW with an iPhone 17 Pro or Pro Max at the Apple event. So why did he get this pop-up? You'll have to show me. Link under specifications. Post the link. Post the link. Under what specifications for what? Why does it say that you need it here on this? This is the iPhone 17 Pro, and it says it requires to external storage. We're getting conflicting information, but I was suspicious that something happened. Let me see. Post the link. Post the link. I don't see the link. You just did what? Let me see if I can find it since I've been iChat. What's iChat? iChat, you mean Messenger? I don't have iChat. On chat? What chat? What chat are you talking about? YouTube, I don't see it. I do not see it. See the link under specifications. Specifications for what, Clayton? Specifications for what? What specifications? The iPhone? It's not in the chat. No, I understand that. Clayton, tell me what you're referring to. Is it the iPhone or iPhone camera? Okay, iPhone 17 Pro. Let me go look. It was not there earlier. Okay, earlier last week, and I asked Apple directly, and it was not there. So they might have added it. Let's go find out. Let me go look while I got everybody here, just so we get proper information. Let's see what we got here. Community. iPhone. Now it's taking me to support pages. Well, you can't post a link in YouTube. I can, but you can't. Let me see something here. The highlights. I'm on the iPhone page. Let me see what it says. Boy, they have a lot of tech notes. Hold on a second. I'm trying to find the. So the only thing that I see, hold on a second. The only thing that I see is it says enable. Are you talking about enabled by third-party apps? Is that what you're saying? This is the only thing that I see. Let's go over here. No, I saw that. That's been there the whole time. That does not say anything about what's required. So it's enabled by compatible apps. It also says enabled by compatible third-party apps, hardware and software. Okay. But it doesn't say anything about whether you need an external SSD or not. Yeah, well, that's been there. That's been there. Okay. But what does this mean? What does this mean? ProRes RAW requires recording to external storage. That's, we're not getting the full information, but it's okay. We'll find out next Friday when I get my phone. Thanks for hanging in, everybody. I was trying to find that. I didn't know. We got 100 people watching live right now. So what we're talking about is whether or not the iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max can record ProRes RAW internally to the phone. Yes, Final Cut Camera is a compatible app, but it doesn't say anything about what kind of storage you need. Once again, but we'll find out Friday when I get mine. I'll try to record on my 1 terabyte SSD without hooking up an external SSD and see if I get the pop-up. If the pop-up doesn't happen, then that must have been a pre-production that Tyler Stallman had. but the compatible app doesn't know anything about what kind of storage is necessary. It doesn't. Since that pop-up showed up at the Apple event, it seems strange that they allowed that if the phone can indeed record internally. Or they should have contacted Tyler and said, hey, can you take that part of the video down? Which storage option? I got the 1 terabyte because of this ProRes RAW external device issue. Plus, it was from 1 terabyte to 2 terabytes, so that's 1 extra terabyte of storage is $400. Too much. Too much. I've been managing. Now, here's the thing. I've been managing 1 terabyte for years without any problem. I never filled it up. I manage it, but I am going to try. I'm going to listen. When I get that iPhone, I'm going to record ProRes RAW starting on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all weekend long. So I'll see if that pop-up happens without an external SSD being plugged in. Now, I'd be surprised if you can't record internally. But right now, I can't find confirmation. I went with iPhone Air. That iPhone Air looks fantastic, Eric. It is so sleek. I don't need ProRes RAW either, but I certainly want to try it out. I mean, I think I use log, but usually I shoot in HEVC log, Apple log. And I like it a lot. My DJI Action 5, I shoot log all the time, 4K log. The iPhone, I like log a lot, but I shoot HEVC log, not ProRes log, which is 4 or 5 times the size, file size. But anyway, since it's a big feature, when I get my iPhone 16 Pro Max on Friday, I will be shooting ProRes RAW starting on Friday all weekend, just to try it out. I probably will scale, I'll scale that back and just have a select few things that I'll shoot in RAW. But I certainly want to try it out, especially with the new version of Final Cut Pro coming out, 11.2. People who think they need 2 terabyte can most likely also afford to upgrade each year. Me, not so much. Oh, I upgrade each year, and I'd have no problem spending the extra $400 for 2 terabytes. But here's the issue. First off, I got 2 terabytes for $200. Plugs right in. 2 terabytes for less than $200 that plugs right into the iPhone. Here's the other thing. Managing the 1 terabyte of data, I've never got up to 1 terabyte. I've gotten up to 600, 700 gigabytes. Never got to the 1 terabyte level. Managing that takes time. Getting that stuff off the phone takes time. I don't want 2 terabytes of data on my phone, and I got to get it off, and I got to get it off. It doesn't transfer that fast. So 1 terabyte is fine. I will manage it. I can transfer 1 terabyte from the phone to this SSD without even a Mac computer involved. Just do it in files. I can manage it inside of files. Also strange that Final Cut Camera does not use 2-stream. Double Take does this for years. Yes, Double Take was the first one that I did the 2 separate files when recording front and back camera, but I use Rode Capture app now, which does the same thing. Rode Capture is a free app in the App Store, and you can choose your front camera, and you choose the selfie camera, and you can choose 1080p or 4K for both files. So, Genlock is how you sync up cameras so everything's running synced with time code. So if you have a professional shoot, like a multicam shoot, you want all your cameras, any audio devices you have, you'll want them all gen locked so they're all synced while they're recording with the same time code. That's what gen lock is. That's a simple explanation. I don't need a super complicated explanation. Here's the backyard. Looks like a nice day out there. Very, very nice day. Double take is very unstable. I've had the same problem. Many situations we've made an error and stopped the recording after less than 5 minutes. So I've had the same problem with the Rode Capture app where I was recording an interview, recording me and the person in front, and it stopped recording and I didn't notice it. And I have one file that got corrupted because it stopped recording and it has hundreds of megabytes of data. Haven't been able to open it. Not that big a deal. I think the iPhone only one shoots ProRes RAW. Well, I think the iPhone Pro and Pro Max shoot it, right? Danny Boyle needed Genlock for 28 years later, right? He had all those iPhones in that semicircle for that one scene, all those iPhones. They had to be, is it Rode Capture? Yes, Rode Capture. That's the one that I use. It's free. Rode has a couple of free apps. Rode Capture is the one I use for to record two different files at the same time. What I use that for is if I'm interviewing somebody and they're on the front cameras or the back cameras, whatever you want to call it, and then it's recording me as well. So when in post, I have a little picture in picture of me asking questions or conversing rather than just a voice with no image asking it. I like that a lot better. So, is anybody else getting the iPhone 17 Pro Max? Can't imagine transferring 2 terabytes. This is what I'm saying. I have enough trouble with transferring 1 terabyte to get it off the phone. So hope 1 terabyte. Internal ProRes RAW is just a storage thing. You might get a message unless you get the 2 terabyte. I think it's more than storage. I think it's the data size, because I'm thinking it might be the open gate, the entire sensor, rather than a 16:9 slice. So it's the data rate. Not data size, data rate. Transferring the full sensor, it is a higher data rate than just a 16:9 slice. Right. So it's the data rate, I think, is what it is. If you can wait till Friday, we'll do another live stream when I get my phone, just a quick one, to clarify what's going on with that, unless Apple comes out with a tech note or a clarification or whatever they want to do between now and then. So we'll see. It's weird, but we'll see. I was on the fence, but ProRes RAW with Blackmagic app update, DaVinci update, and Final Cut Pro updates think they could be my main production camera. Well, I shoot with my iPhone 16 Pro Max, my main camera. Before that, the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Before that, the iPhone 14 Pro Max. They've been my main cameras for years. I have it on my side all the time. I can pull it out instantly and start filming in 4K. And when I get to 17 this week, it'll be the same thing. But when I'm prepared, like when I go to the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit, I'm going to have 2 iPhones. I'm going to have a 16 and a 17. I'm going to have my DJI Action 5 camera, which sometimes I just wear to film like everything the whole time. And then depending, I might bring my Lumix S5 Mark IIX, maybe, probably. I would like to upgrade my 15 Pro Max, but we'll wait for your review. Well, I'm not going to, there's going to be dozens and dozens of reviews on YouTube instantly. Specs this, specs that, this kind of test. My review is more casual. It's just what I like about it. Sounds like an official Apple support document to me. I agree. There should be something to clarify what's going on there, why Tyler got that pop-up message. Just clarify on the iPhone page, or put up a document, iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max, raw recording specifications. If it's just, I don't think it's just storage, I think it's something else. What's your data rate average for shooting 4K on the iPhone, Richard? Well, I shoot in HEVC, so it's not that high. I think the Blackmagic camera app has an option for 50 megabytes a second for HEVC, 4K HEVC. They have different data rates now. So I don't shoot log, I shoot in HEVC. To be honest with you, if I'm going to shoot something that requires ProRes, I'm going to use my Lumix S5 Mark IIX and shoot that. Better glass, full frame sensor, a lot of other things. So if I'm prepared and doing a shoot, I'm going to use the Lumix S5 Mark IIX as my main camera. And then my B cameras will be my iPhones. If I'm gunning, it's going to be my iPhones. Maybe my DJI Action 5, which I always shoot in log. Always in log. We got 100 people watching live right now. If you're watching live and you haven't made a comment, give me a comment on where you're from. Give me a comment on where you're from, what part of the world you're watching from. If you tuned in for Final Cut Pro 11.2, that's going to be coming Friday, most likely. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thursday, not Friday. The phones are coming out Friday, and I expect Final Cut Pro 11.2 will be coming out Thursday, at least next week, probably Thursday. The Netherlands, thank you for tuning in, of course. I shoot Red RAW for high quality needs. Michelle, which color did you get? I got this color. Let me show you. Rather than tell you, I'll show you. I got the deep blue. I got the deep blue because doesn't that look like black or space gray to you? I mean, that's what I normally get. That's what this one is. Black, space gray. It's so odd that they didn't have a black or space gray version of the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Very limited color palette. So I got the dark blue, deep blue, but it looks like black to me, so. If you only have Lumix or iPhone, which one and why? I would use the Lumix. It's a very high, the Lumix S5 Mark IIX, full frame. I have very fast glass for it. XLR audio I can put in it. It's a pro camera. I really like it. It shoots in 6K, open gate, or 6K regular, 16 by 9, either one. X users, click on the live chat bar at the bottom of the screen to join in. There you go. I got the orange to change it up since I got the blue last time. Very, very cool. Michelle, where are you from? Tell me where you're from. Tell us where you're from, just so we know. So have we had any Facebook posts this time? YouTube and X, our friend over there on the X platform. All YouTube except for nobody over there on the X platform. Nobody from Facebook. If you're watching from Facebook, shoot a comment our way. New York City, very, very cool. I haven't been to New York City for a while, but I went to New York City when I'm an Apple certified Final Cut Pro trainer, and I used to teach the certified pro classes for FMC and for other people. Boston University down in Georgetown. As a matter of fact, I have I have this, look. So this is my ID card. January 28th, 2007, when I became a Apple certified Final Cut Pro instructor, trainer, I went to New York. That's probably the last time I've been in New York, 2007. And I went to Apple headquarters. We had the training there, and I still have my ID card from that. Do iPhones shoot in open gate? The iPhone 17 and 17 Pro do. The iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max do with the right app. So the Final Cut camera app and the Blackmagic camera app, you can shoot an open gate now. Shoot an open gate. Even XD-Cam, blah, blah, blah. Use my iPhone Pro camcorder called the lens. Yes, absolutely. There's really no I mean, there is a comparison. The iPhone 16 and 17 Pro Max are fantastic cameras. But it doesn't shoot as good as a Panasonic Lumix S5 Mark II X, especially in low light. Neil McCafferty said he's in the UK. Absolutely. I'm still in Lincoln, Nebraska. We're all over the world here. All right, we got a few more minutes left for today's episode. We have a record amount of people. As far as what's happening with Final Cut Pro 11.2, other than ProRes RAW, iPhone ProRes RAW support, I'm not sure what else they're going to do. I'd be very surprised if they don't have BRAW support in 11.2. Very surprised. BRAW natively in Final Cut. Getting more sold on new iPhone 17 Pro Max. Maybe Santa bring one. Absolutely. Chicago here, Lizard Man. I haven't been in Chicago for a while, but I taught a Future Media Conferences Final Cut Pro class in Chicago. It was the last time I was there. I liked Chicago. They had a lot of restaurants. And I had to catch a flight out of whatever the airport is. If Final Cut Pro 11.2 arrive on Thursday, as you say, you'll get a coffee for sure. Absolutely. Maybe same time a plugin for Blackmagic. Yes. So Apple announced BRAW support last November, and Final Cut was available, but I think Blackmagic had to do the extension or the plugin or whatever's needed, and I guess they haven't got that worked out yet. But I would say that I'd be surprised, since ProRes RAW is now available in DaVinci Resolve and the Blackmagic camera app, I'd be surprised if BRAW is not available in Final Cut Pro 11.2. just saw an Apple marketing image under ProRes RAW using the Blackmagic camera app, and the screenshot showed an external SSD being used. See? Can you send me that? I'm just curious. This is interesting, if that's the case. It's what's interesting is Apple didn't say anything before people bought their iPhones. I mean, I don't think many people would only buy an iPhone just for ProRes RAW shooting capability. Maybe some, but most people are buying it, and that's an added bonus. Like me, for example. I would have got the 17 Pro Max regardless of ProRes RAW. But, and like I said, I have the external SSD. I got it right here. 2 terabytes. So I have no problem with it. It's just odd that it wasn't mentioned. By the way, the Final Cut Pro team does watch this live stream. So we want to give them a round of applause. We're expecting Final Cut 11.2 this week. They've already pre-announced it. Ain't the first time. I'll look, Clayton, I'll look up, see if I can find that. But if you can, let's see. Did you just send me something on Messenger? Maybe. Some people buy it because it's a phone. I buy it every year. It's my main camera, so I buy it every year. I was very pleased with Apple Log. So let me just see if he sent me somebody just sent me something on Messenger. Yes. Here we go. Let's see what's going on here. Lexar, mine's a 2 terabyte. They come in 1 terabyte for like less than 100, I think, and 2 terabytes. It's on sale at Amazon for like $187 right now. So it's 2 terabyte for $200 versus 1 extra terabyte for $400 from Apple. Now, Apple's storage has always been expensive. Always been expensive. Now, why is that not? There it is. Ah, there we go. Let me pull this up. Our friend just sent this over here. Let me pull this up. Black. So, turn that off and turn this on. This is from Clayton. Look what it says there at the bottom, SSD. SSD. Is that, what else does that say? So, there you go. That's just more proof. You know what? That is ProRes RAW HQ. ProRes RAW HQ, which is the high quality version. And that certainly has an SSD. But our friend Tyler did not choose ProRes RAW HQ. He just chose ProRes RAW, and he got the pop-up that it requires recording to external storage. We'll see. We will see. That's a big deal to me. Maybe Final Cut Pro team should talk to Apple iPhone team about ProRes RAW clarification. Yeah, I doubt if it's... If you can get 200 megapixel camera, most likely go with that, but iPhone is very convincing. That's 200 megapixel doesn't mean anything. It depends on the quality of the lenses. Can your 200 megapixel camera shoot ProRes RAW? No, it can't. It cannot shoot ProRes RAW because the iPhone 17 Pro is the only camera in the world, the iPhone camera, that can shoot ProRes RAW right now. So 200 megapixels on its own does not convince me to go. I like the Apple ecosystem. I like the ease of use with the iPhones. I like using it with Final Cut Pro, etc. So we'll see. I'm not planning on switching. I just paid over $1,000 for my iPhone 17 Pro Max with the trade-in of my iPhone 15 Pro Max. With the trade-in. We got a lot of people watching. A lot of people over on the X platform. Everything always goes through marketing first. They have to sign off. We'll have to see how it goes. Like I said, I'll have mine on Friday. The first thing I'm going to try is ProRes RAW. And I'll do a screen recording. And then I'll come on and tell people about it. And of course, we'll be back next Saturday after I get my iPhone. But one way or the other, I'm going to record ProRes RAW on Friday and over the weekend. One way or the other. A lot of people are watching on the X platform. I feel stressed representing all 63 X users. If you're on the X platform, chime in. Make a comment so we have more than I Nobody. I Nobody shows up every week. I could tell you stories offline. I get a lot of stories offline from different people. Have a fantastic day, Rich. Have a great weekend. Absolutely. So I'm going to get off here and we're going to, let me put up this Facebook.com events 130-184-910-831 blah blah blah. I'll post that again in the let me post it again in the YouTube channel. Here we go. So the link will work. This is our friend. Oops, that didn't work. What's going on here? Weird. Hold on a second. Let me get it over there in the YouTube channel. Oh, I got it. Hold on a second. This is confusing me. Huh. It's weird. It won't go. Let me go take that off there. It's not going. Anyway, there's the I can see in the Blackmagic website that I do not need Final Cut Pro for iPad if I want to record from more than one camera at once. Oh, that's weird. What the heck's going on here? There we go. All right, let me go over to YouTube and post the link over there. Because I can post live links, but nobody else can. Here we go. There's the live link for our friend Mike Eddies. He's the author of Final Cut Pro Cookbook. He's coming up at 12 o'clock in a few minutes. And I'm going to get out of here. We've been on for almost 2 hours. 1 hour and 49 minutes. That's plenty. That is plenty. So I'm excited. This week, iPhone 17 Pro Max coming Friday. I'll be tracking it. Usually I track it all the way from China is when it comes from, or India somewhere. And I want to thank every one of you for tuning in today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. thank you once again to the Final Cut Pro team as well. And we'll see you probably this week. Final Cut Pro could come out earlier than Thursday. I'm just thinking the iPhones are arriving on Friday. Final Cut Pro 11.2 will be out Thursday, the day before before Final Cut Pro update comes out. That's my thinking. They've already pre-announced it. It's not a secret. We've been talking about it for months on this show. But I'll probably be back on Friday when I get my iPhone 17 Pro Max. We'll probably be back just for a quick deal. Don't forget to subscribe. If you're a new viewer or watcher, don't forget to subscribe over there at youtube.com at Richard Taylor TV. Subscribe, hit the like button, all that stuff. Good for the algorithm. You can also join our Facebook groups, Final Cut TV Radio over there. We're here every Saturday. Subscribe. Don't forget to do that. It helps. Is it possible Final Cut Pro 11.2 require Mac OS Tahoe? For some features, perhaps. It is possible, but I think it'll be backwards compatible, but may not have all the features that Tahoe has. So I don't think it'll be, no, 11.2 without being backwards compatible would be problematic. Tahoe for some features, not for all the features. All right, everyone, I'm going to get out of here. Don't forget to subscribe. Yes, subscribe over here on YouTube. You can't subscribe on X. You can subscribe on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, like and subscribe. It helps. It helps. All the thumbs up and everything helps. So we'll be back this week probably for sure. Thursday afternoon, if 11.2 is released, we'll do a live stream, and you'll know about it if you subscribe. On X, you have the community. That's correct. On Final Cut Pro, on X, I have the Final Cut Pro community. So you can join that as well. I subscribe on YouTube. Thank you very much. It is appreciated. All right, I'm going to get out of here. Get the rest of my Saturday night going. Looking forward to the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Looking forward to Final Cut Pro 11.2. There's going to be some features in 11.2. Hopefully some things that everybody likes. Otherwise, why call it 11.2? Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I appreciate it. And I'll see you later this week, for sure. Talk to you later.